Hello, folks, friends, fans, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Tune Talk Tuesday with the Sweeplings. And somebody you might recognize and love as much as we do, our dear friend, John Paul White.
Hello.
So
How are you?
he's with us. We're great, man. Thank you for taking some time out of your no doubt busy schedule to be with us. And more importantly, to have helped us craft and hone and write and produce the song called Please Don't. And that's what we're here to talk about today is the song Please Don't that we co-wrote and co-produced with the magician of all things melodic and lyric, John Paul White, and obviously the beautiful, wonderful Cammie Bradley.
Well, I just want to start. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
I just wanted to start by saying thank you to you because we actually got to write a song with you from our last record, but I didn't actually get to interact or meet you at all. So this was especially special for me because we got to, one, be on a Zoom Skype call for the beginning of the song, but then we actually got to be in the room together and I got to meet you and see your magic in person, which you really do. Like, there is something very special about what you do and how you craft and how you write. So thank you for letting us use your time and talent in a really cool way. And for this song especially, it's very important to me. So
it's always still strange to me when somebody wants to work with me. When they actively want me to be involved with their creation. I think I will always be self-deprecating to a fault. So when y'all reached out, it was like I'm a bit selfish. I only work with people that I think are amazing. Because life's just too short. There's a rule, they say, the rule of threes, where you decide to work on a project. Is it good money? Is it good hang? Is it good music? And if you get 2 out of 3, you should always do it.
Mm.
So I definitely wanted to be in the room with y'all and be a part of what you're doing because I believe in it.
thank you.
Gosh, that's high praise. I can't wait till my mom and dad watch this, so they'll be like, "He's not a failure." John Paul like totally agrees with it.
I'm not sure that's going to hold up in court. It's very sweet that you say that.
Yeah, it's a good eulogy, if nothing else. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how the song was created. This was a very, very small start on Whitney and I's side. We just had like a few brief ideas that we brought to our writing session with you. And I remember the start of the writing session was in the middle of COVID, or towards the tail end of like all of the shutdown stuff. And the first thing that you said, John Paul, was, I'm just so sick of writing sad songs. Like, everybody wants to write sad songs. Let's write something else. Like, I can't wait to see what you guys have. And I was like,
that does not sound like me. That does not sound like me. COVID made us all go through some really weird cycles. So.
Yeah. I think everybody just had kind of the same valleys during COVID.
Yeah.
And
I think, for me, I bet what I was talking about was I was having a hard time writing on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I could collaborate was fine. Collaboration was fine. But every time I looked at a sheet of paper, it was just, and the ideas that normally would come seemed so trivial in light of what all was going on in the world. And so I just put my guitar back down.
Mm.
I went through this, like, who cares about my broken heart kind of vibe. And that was, I'm still kind of there. I'm still having a hard time writing by myself, for myself.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that day, things went well because, you know, it's one of those beautiful situations when everybody's pulling their own weight. And it's not, you don't feel like you're dragging everybody uphill, which happens. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, sometimes you're the one that has to be carried. But that was a good day where everybody was hitting on all cylinders.
Mm. Well, I just remember that I shared with you that my dad had passed away in the heart of COVID stuff, and both you and Whitney just held it so delicately and allowed for the process of this song to be written in a way that really was my words and my story, but put in such an eloquent and thoughtful way. And I was just so thankful because a lot of times in the midst of grief, it's really hard to present your feelings and thoughts in a way that doesn't feel too simple or too bland, because that's what you feel a lot of times is just nothing. So it was really cool to collaborate in an emotional state, but having other people kind of pour into what I was feeling and how I was feeling it and what that meant for this song in particular.
I think that's a very wise way to go about it. I feel like when I'm in a really bad place and I try to write about it, it ends up being just maudlin. It ends up being just too much, too depressing, and it's hard to make it beautiful. And also, you know, when you're down in it, it's hard to see up out of it, and you end up getting really heavy-handed. So I think more often than not, I do the opposite. If I'm in a good place, that's when I can really articulate a sad song, because I've been there plenty of times and I can see it better from the outside looking in. In your situation, it's perfect for us because we have an instant barometer there. You know, we can always just look to you and say, it's just too much. Is this not enough? Is this on the nose? Is it in the ballpark? And that's not always the case. You know, a lot of times you're writing about subject matter that may not be personal to you or to your co-writer. And at the end of the day, you're like, well, I feel this, but did we check all the boxes? So it's a nice safety net when you're in the room writing something that is really personal to somebody, and knowing that they're giving it the seal of approval makes your job a little bit easier.
Well, for sure. I know from my perspective, the whole thing was, I was looking to my left on the screen and Cammy would sing a line and I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to be killer. And then John would say, well, what if we said this, and would sing part of a line. And I was like, yeah, we should just do that. So I feel like my contributions are more of just like being the agreeable, helper hype man than anything. But to your earlier point, honestly, John's got it nailed, that being able to have that gauge and barometer from Cammy on what this song's narrative is about the process of grief and the process of, like, sometimes you want to reach out and you want to say, okay, I need to hear words of affirmation and comfort. And then sometimes you don't feel anything and you don't want to feel those things or hear those things. So having Cammy be the barometer for the song is a great way to put it. And I'm, for one, very grateful, again, to echo Cammy's earlier sentiment, that we were all in the same room to do it. And just being able to collaborate with you guys in any fashion, for me, is like the ultimate blessing and thing to be excited about. But this song is definitely special to me too, in lots of ways. Being able to be there in some way, it's almost like being able to give the best grief gift, if there is such a thing that would exist in the world. Kind of like a birthday gift. But if you could say, I'm so sorry you went through that, if there's anything I could do, like maybe write a song that can translate how you feel. It feels like we talked about it in a interview not too long ago, but I feel like it's a band-aid to relationships and things sometimes, to be able to say like, I wish I could do something for you, and then be able to do something in terms of writing a song together is like to me, very healing and very inspiring, and it really clicks on all the cylinders of the emotions that a human feels. And I couldn't be more grateful to have this song down in the bank of Sweeplings things we've done. It's really, really rewarding and really fun.
I think that is something that it goes different ways. Like, there's so many people that talk to me about songs that I've written or performed that say, you articulated what I've been going through with my mom or my dad or my grandpa or whatever.
Absolutely.
You said it in a way that I couldn't say it, but I felt every bit of it. And so it's, and usually in those situations, I want to say I'm sorry, because I feel like I'm piling on, with some of my sadness. Just like, you think you're sad now, listen to this song.
Yeah.
But to a person, people always say, no, it helps. It helps me navigate it, and it helps to know other people are going through the same thing and struggling with that emotion, whatever. And, you just feel a little less alone when that's the case. And it works that way for me too with other people's songs. So it makes sense, but it's always a fantastic moment when you realize you captured something in a unique way that's going to connect with others.
Right, and we've gotten a lot of good fan interaction and personal interaction with people about the song, and that is our hopeful goal in our very sad twist on most things we write, is that in that sadness we are creating hope. That like you mentioned, that there is this universal feeling and process. We all are humans, and we're all flawed, and we all are going to struggle, and we're going to deal with loss and love and ups and downs. And even if though it's a sad song about the passing of Cammy's wonderful dad, like maybe it shines a light into somebody else's life and therefore brings a little bright spot. So it can be sad, and it can be something that's terrible in terms of its reality, that it's about the death of a man, but it's also so much more than that when you really dig into it and take in consideration all the emotions that can be pulled from it. So again, I'm grateful, man. I love the song, and being able to also co-produce it with you and things was very interesting. I don't know if anybody else would even care about this sentence that all of them about to say, but it's being able to witness how another artist that we truly respect and revere, like John, is like the way that you approach the sonic representation of what we've written is just, it's unique. It's like you have your own coloring palette, like your own Picasso layout. And when you listen to a song, or you're recording that song, you know what color palettes to choose from to then paint that sonic picture for people to hear. And it was super helpful for us in making this record, that it fit with everything else we were doing in terms of our collective songs that we have in our catalog, but also this record that we made in general, that it was not a standalone piece that you could tell that, oh, well, John Paul White was a part of it. It was, you were an infusion into what we were doing, and I feel like it happened seamlessly. And your ability to navigate those waters of what we do and how your interjection into that without putting too much of a fingerprint on or all those kind of things was really perfectly done.
Thank you very much. If I understand any musical act, it would be y'all. I mean, what you do is so similar to what I do and what I have done, and so immediately, not only did I know where it should head, sometimes that's not the case, but with what y'all do is just the most natural progression ever, because I'd used those colors many times and know my way around them. And you're both such great singers that it makes my job a whole lot easier. There's to stay out of the way of those voices is really the best production angle you can have. So most of my decisions were, what can we put on here and not distract away from the song and from the voice? And that's not always the case. So that made my job a whole lot easier.
Well, thank you. I know that we came away with it, just to again dive into the Tune Talk Tuesday part of things, is that we have what's called in the biz a work tape. That's when you record it, like you record on your iPhone or whatever device you have locally, just like this is the idea of the song. And so John Paul, Cammie, myself, we co-wrote it all together, and then we put the burden on Cammie and said, now you go just record that some way and send it to the group, and we'll see what happens from there. And as the song would unfold and come to what you actually heard on the record, is that the work tape was so good. Like, I thought the work tape I didn't even want to be a part of it. It spoke on its own. So it was really hard for us to all make the decision, I honestly think, to find appropriate places in the production to have me be in there that didn't take away from the storyline of what Cammie was portraying, both sonically and with the lyric narrative. So it was really fun and interesting to take it from, the demo sounds great, like the work tape. Let's just kind of do that and then add to what we can to emphasize.
Right. Well, you're very right about that. It's definitely a huge advantage to have an actual representation of the song that already moves you before you ever walk into the studio. It makes your job, it depends on the producer. Some producers just can't help themselves and they've got to put a bunch of stuff on a track, or they don't feel like they're doing their job. But
yeah,
I'm looking at it like, what's the least I can possibly do on this track, and it be riveting. It'd be something that you never lose your train of thought the whole time you're listening to it. You don't have an out. And usually those things can be incredibly subtle, really small things to keep your ear interested. More often than not, I'm not a fan of productions that are just one instrument top to bottom and one voice top to bottom. Usually because after the first verse and chorus, you kind of get into a rhythm, and so I just try to do little subtle changes just to make your ear perk up, just to keep you interested.
Well, Cammie, I think we did another great Tune Talk. Do you have anything else to add? I feel like never mind, go ahead. Sorry. I was going to make a reference to a Saturday Night Live sketch, but I think I may be the only person that's aware of it.
Let's not then, since our fans have to watch it. John, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, everyone who watched this entire segment. I'm sure that they did, because this is the most interesting one we've ever done.
For sure.
Join us maybe next week. I'm not sure. Another Tuesday on Tune Talk Tuesday. Peace out.
Till next time.
What if I do? What if I don't stay?